Hello, I'm John Fox and Tunnel John of the West. I'm having a Danganronpa trigger happy Havoc adventure, and I understand.
I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here.
You must not leave.
It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before. Why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It's definitely not story critical or anything. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked for your help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. But if you ignore that one time I let her die, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. That's a rocket and a tank. Better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. Let's... Reaction there! Did you like it? It was pretty quick. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. The ultimate detective!
Correct.
And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy was there was someone I had to find here in the schools. What was that? Reacted there pretty fast again. You had to find someone who...
So...
Well, was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster! Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak's headmaster. But he's in his 30s. But then that explains when Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved. And she was all like...
Huh?
No matter what? So,
This is a flashback I'm just going to not read.
My
memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense. Oh no, the... my crappy chair.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess. The desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I'd also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Makuro's profile and the key. The map showed the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Oh, I left my cup of tea over there. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. I'm going to have to put a cut in here to get my cup of tea. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight, and I read that already, didn't I? And I figured the headmaster would have had some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So I went in there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. Which means the second floor! Ah, wonderful reaction time there. So, what was it like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realised whatever's going on in the school is more horrific than we'd ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself. I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important and really ominous. Better talk to Kyoko. Don't know why the conversation ended then. Wow.
However...
Of course, once I got to the second floor of the dorms, there were no cameras or monitors, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. I was so preoccupied with investigating that area, it was unforgivably careless of me.
However...
It has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't it?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then who did kill her?
Anyway...
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared. And in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. Minimal restrictions, you're free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words...
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
Hey.
There's one thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. Huh? Why does it give me the choice?
Indeed.
I could have become the victim.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean during the night?
I
can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death, the Shinigami. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. The ability naturally draws me into cases, just like this.
Anyway...
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
Correct.
I ran into your room and saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However...
It wasn't the end of things, of course. Of course. Of course, of course, of course, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
Correct.
And the murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, but that is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did was a contradiction. So what does it mean?
In other words...
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other. Ultimate despair. The other! Ultimate despair. There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair. And that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about
That's right.
whatever happened a year ago. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that. They're the ultimate despair.
It would seem...
The despicable groups whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all evil that's forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. Pain of a junk food junkie, 100-mile dash. I forgot it was even called that, to be honest. All of them survived. There we go. Dream Island rocket present. Huh. 5 alive. There's 6 people alive, game. The ultimate despair. The people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. Apparently. But right now
Anyway...
we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come afterwards. Yeah, you're right. Rattle, rattle. It's locked, but we have a way to open this door. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from Headmaster's room.
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Hey Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open that door, right? God damn game, it took like 5 sentences to do this.
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then... click! Yes! It opened!
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally. We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, and ultimate death. Okay, I was like, oh, I was going to call it Ultimate Despair, but there's going to be a title. Oh, it's that title. Let's just call it Ultimate Despair then. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in the tunnel extending straight up, like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long, and we had to listen to this song from Metal Gear Solid 3. It lasted a whole 3 minutes, but I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now you said that, I'm kind of getting nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind on it. So Kyoko, there's one thing I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detectives' work is in my blood. It's how it took me so long to figure out what blood type I was. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? If it's your family tradition, right, so...
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That's how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society, which is why we made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort. It's easy for you to say.
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational, but it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However,
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak. That means her father's a detective as well. I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kigiri, whatever, detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because of how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
what?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reunited after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? Just leave. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. I'm not very young anymore. I'm a teenager, obviously, but we don't count that as very young in Japan. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However,
But he had no interest in detective work, so he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. You could have done the noise of the climbing, just to add to this scene. Because I assume they haven't just stopped to have this conversation. I'll stop tapping the table. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. Also, I'd probably be dead. I mean, let's face it. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. And let's be honest, if you were below her, it would have been incredibly difficult to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. Not unless her expression was on her bottom. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that. What she might have been feeling. All I could tell was, compared to her usual self, she was more talkative. And more emotional. In fact, you have a better chance of seeing her face from up here. Just look down. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing. One thing I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him, and I have to tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever, I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, just to cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. After all, the blood of family is thicker than the... No. The water of the covenant is thicker than the blood of the... Okay, there's a phrase called the blood is thicker than water, and it originally meant the opposite, because now when people say, "Oh, blood's thicker than water," was it the blood of sacrament is thicker than the water of the covenant? It's supposed to say the people you chose to be friends are your true family, but like it's actually twisted in meaning over the years. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey,
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said, "Oh well, la da da." It was the wrong choice. I should have just said nothing. What was that? We could have had that during the entire conversation. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after, I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Let's say, Mo. Looks like this is it.
indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. Sorry, it's a really weird Simpsons reference. I think it's like the series 10. It's one of the final funny jokes of the Simpsons. It's just they all get trapped on an island. It might be even later than series 10. They all get trapped on an island, and they do Lord of the Flies, which is kind of like this. But at the end, it just says they're rescued, and the narrator just says by, let's say Mo, like they didn't know, which is very funny. But it was just someone did, because they just needed to return to the status quo after the episode. It's got to be a later one because they were all trapped on an island, and that's a pretty weird story. But like, it can't be like later. It's post Golden Age, but it's not by that much. We're
That's
back.
right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? Oh yeah, I remember that. I was going to say obviously the trash comes down here, so that makes sense as well. I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. Why did you jump down then? Why didn't you just climb down? I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. I mean, I knew it would have been very tiring, but you would have not risked death. The hatch opened with ease, and so... Looks like we're back. I can't believe how long that ladder was. Oh, it's nighttime. I'm exhausted. I can't actually say we're safe and sound, but at the least we're out of there. Just gonna put in the title of the episode. Cool. I've got to watch out because I'm streaming these now, so I have backup copies of the episode. And one of the streams had a copyright strike on it, I think. Well, it's been blocked worldwide, so I've got to figure out where that song is. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favour. I mean, I don't understand why Alter Ego couldn't have just saved Kyoko. And then Kyoko could have climbed up and said, "You dickhead!" So what's the next step once we get out of here? I should ask Kyoko. Kyoko. Can't do anything without talking to Kyoko first. So, now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course. But if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too, you helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then,
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
in other words,
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
however,
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time until we'll find out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What makes you think that's going to happen? But what do you think is going to happen isn't... Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind's ensnared. You said something like that before, but what does it mean?
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Makuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little No, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Isn't the gym locked tonight? It's like the kitchen. I'll spare you that.
Well now.
Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't believe it!
But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really going to be okay? You're supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during a class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I
Making me angry!
gotta punish you again, and this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko,
Right.
do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
But before you do, let me say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Huh?
I lose?
Hey!
You! Explain yourself! What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up the latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trials weren't at all what you were expecting, because you never imagined in that position one person would protect another like that.
right,
And in response to that unexpected development,
indeed,
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the blackened and trying to execute him. You made that choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
however,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Makuro, you did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the blackened is me and not Makoto.
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence. Oh, that's very nice. Yes. Good temperature. Slightly too hot.
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now. But with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth. And you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And what's that supposed to... And that's supposed to be enough to convince... And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
Indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume you killed him because of what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can just say we're making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Makuro's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
That would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial. One last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Makuro's killer or the mastermind themselves. Oh. No, I misread that. Oh, whatever. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up, so it's time for bear jokes. Now that you suggested might be possible, it would certainly make one for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair. Despair! Despair right here, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim... Despair. Will my despair claim victory? Okay, you can't use my pun.
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot of this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries. That's right. Every last mystery that's pouring around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain myself!
then that'll be enough to qualify for a victory, as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Makuro's death and solve the mysteries of the school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth... Sorry, drop voice. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as exciting as... We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe this is how all this has turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that, for sure. For sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And that is a true statement? Oh, you don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations, and having a trial for Makuro is no exception to that. Huh? Makuro's trial is no exception. Then it's a part of the regulations, which would have to mean that whoever killed Makuro... It's a very polarizing approach, I know. But okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why did he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry!
I'm done talking! I've got nothing left to say to you! So get lost, would you? Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone! Get out of here! Okay, I'm going. It's just... You really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting ready. A super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto. Let's go. Okay. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we're out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
however,
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
so...
They had no choice but to accept. Huh?
Because...
All because of that moment that the mastermind let their guard down. Let their guard down. Got there. Oof, with my reactions. So when the mastermind let their guard down.
So...
I wasn't there to hear it myself. But do you remember what the mastermind said? They said they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
Listen.
But what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't actually read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, the kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However...
And yet somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
In other words...
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
So...
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
It would seem...
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. All their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. Those stupid regulations didn't exist. Nobody would have killed anybody.
In other words...
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and to show that off to the world. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove... a point!
Hey,
The outside world is a name for students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept? You're talking about hope, right?
that's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the mastermind wants the world to see that and try to prove that despair is better than hope. And that's their goal as the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope. But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right. It is ridiculous. completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who would call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that their only reason for making us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet, that same motivation is what led Mastermind to revealing their weakness. What?
In other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The Mastermind has to be more particular than... What? The Mastermind has to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the Mastermind had simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least...
At least, that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the Mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
Indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead they tried to use a class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, that made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the Mastermind took another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. When that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire world, the Mastermind had to accept your suggestion.
Indeed.
You know, why are we going over this? We just went over this. To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they'd have to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words...
It would only do the Mastermind harm to have it shown that they violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? You were still able to get the Mastermind to accept your challenge.
However...
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the Mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue. In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet. But it looks like I got it right this time, at least. I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I heard that. I took it as a small sigh of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanour is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I showed my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However...
Anyway, we can't just relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
Correct.
Well, everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the Mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey.
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but we don't know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is to work together with everyone to destroy the Mastermind. Work together with everyone.
However...
Is that really possible? Huh?
Anyway...
Right now, we have to go find the others.
Shall we go?
They're probably in the dorm somewhere. Right. I think we've got 4 minutes left. I don't know because I walked off to make a cup of tea. You know there's exclamation marks on the map, John. And suddenly we were greeted with... You again? Is he broken?
Whew.
I suppose his emotional instability reached his limit. Jeez, what the heck?
However...
I wonder what that was all about. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Ah,
Is that Makoto?
Four suspects. You see, I think it's him because he hasn't really played a role in the game. But at the same time, she's been like the other obvious goodie who has been sort of suspiciously in the story a lot. We'll see, I guess. But Hiro's been my guest like since the start of the game. Is that Makoto?
You guys!
Even Toko looks happy.
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto!
Huh? You survived?
Jeez, you're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
Everyone was there. All my friends who had struggled together and survived. Also Toko. As soon as I saw their faces, I couldn't help myself. I started to tear up.
What?
Wait, what's that smell?
What the heck?
Yeah, man, that seriously stinks. It's Makoto. He smells like a wet dog. Get away! Shoo! Shoo! You didn't wash for like a week. In my flash, my tears dried up. Right. And with that, I'm going to let you go. I've been John Foxy on the channel John of the West. I've been having a Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc adventure. I'm pretty sure we have this final chapter and an epilogue. So yeah, pretty close to the end, I think. Like 7 hours? Reckon so? So yeah, see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.